and welcome to a very special adult beverage review. This adult beverage is so unique, so lucky. I'm so lucky to have that I have 3 pages of notes. So what's so special about this? This is Wheeler 12-year-old bourbon whiskey. Now, as part of the weeded bourbon family, this 12-year-old W.L. Wheeler is aged longer than most weeded bourbons. They say the offering is smooth, easygoing, with the balanced bourbon with a beautiful deep brown color. So I know what you're saying. It's what's so special about this. This is an allocated bourbon. Okay? I know you're saying, what's the big deal? What's allocated? For those that don't know bourbon, allocated bourbon in the world of whiskey, few terms generate much excitement as allocated bourbon. But what does it mean? And why does it matter? To bourbon enthusiasts, why does this list of allocated bourbon matter? This bottle is so rare. Allocated bourbons refer to bottles that are only available in limited quantities. Distilleries allocate these bottles to specific retailers, bars, and restaurants, often based off a sales performance or relationship with the distillery. These bourbons are highly sought after and can come at high prices on the secondary market. One of the most well-known allocated bourbons is the Pappy Van Winkle line. Old Van Winkle Distillery. These bourbons are released once a year in very limited qualities, leading to a frenzy among bourbon enthusiasts trying to get their hands on a bottle. This Wheeler is made with the same mash just about as Pappy Van Winkle. It's the same distillery. Another example is the Buffalo Trace Antique Collection. It's a series of 5 different bourbons that are released annually. Each bottle in the collection is unique, offering a different flavor profile and aging process. The magic of allocated. Another example is the Buffalo Trace Antique Collection. It's a series of 5 different bourbons that are released annually. Each bottle in the collection is unique, offering a different flavor profile and aging process. The magic of allocated bourbon isn't just about scarcity, though. These bourbons often some of the highest quality offerings from the distillery. They're made using the best ingredients and aged for longer periods, resulting in a richer, more complex profile. But, the world of allocated bourbon isn't without controversy. The high demand and limited supply have led to a secondary market where bottles can sometimes sell for as many times the retail price. Some enthusiasts argue that this goes against the spirit of bourbon, turning a drink that was once known for its affordability into a luxury item. Despite this excellent excitement around allocated bourbon shows no signs of slowing down. For many bourbon enthusiasts, The thrill of the hunt is part of the appeal. When they finally get their hands on the exclusive bottle, it makes the taste all the sweeter. Recent rewards for Wheeler 12-year aged bourbon. 2024 Silver World Whiskies Award from Whiskey Magazine. The 2024 Platinum San Francisco World Spirits Competition, and the 2024 Silver International Wine and Spirits Competition, and the 2024 Best in Class Double Gold Whiskies of the World. Now, what's so special about Wheeler? Wheeler 12-year-old surged in popularity after Pappy Van Winkle took off in the mid-aughts, thanks to its use of the same wheated mash bill, but being more affordable than its cousin Van Winkle's 12-year-old, and at the same time, somewhat easier to attain at retail pricing. I paid retail. I got it at my work, Bourbon. Age statements for bourbon were rarer than Whaler 12. It was first released in 2001, though the market now flooded with similarly aged offerings, but being one of the originators, Wheeler 12 still stands out among the crowd. So this is a Wheeler 12-year-old bourbon at glance. It's made by Buffalo Trace Distillery. It's aged 12 years. The mash bill is 51% corn. They don't disclose the wheat, and they don't disclose the barley. It's 90% proof, 45% alcohol by volume. The suggested retail price is $70. I paid $79.99. And it's charred in new American oak barrels. That's how it's cast. If you're looking for it, you're probably going to pay secondary market because regular customers know when we get this. Employees know when we get this. And when we get this, first come, first serve. Usually the manager that's unloading the truck at most of our Bevmos get a bottle. Now, the thing about allocated whiskeys and allocated bourbons is that they're allocated. So there is, stores limit you to only 1 to 2 bottles. So, I mean, 1 to 2 bottles. I know this is a longer video than normal. Haven't even took a sip of it yet. Maybe I'll make this a 2-part video. One just talking about it, and one just drinking it. Maybe it's definitely going to be edited down from this original. I mean, I've been talking for like 13, 16 minutes. So it's definitely going to be edited down. So how is Wheeler made? Buffalo Trace has 4 main mash bills, all of which are undisclosed. Mash bill number 1 is 51% corn, undisclosed amounts of rye, believed to be 10% or less, or low rye and barley. Mash bill number 1 is used for Buffalo Trace, E.H. Taylor, Stag, and Eagle Rare. Mash bill number 2 is a highly rye mash with between 12 to 15% rye, 51% corn, an undisclosed amount of barley, and Emberty Lee, Ancient Age, Blankton's, and Rock Hill Farm are made from mash bill number 2. Now, there is a rye mash bill used in Sararak and Thomas H. Hanley, which is at least 50% rye, with the undisclosed amount of corn and barley. And lastly, there is a wheated mash bill, which uses 51% corn and an undisclosed amount of wheat and barley. This wheated mash bill is used for all Wheeler products, with the exception of the newly launched ultra-aged Wheeler Millennium, which blends in its wheat whiskeys that contain at least 51% wheat, and it's also used for Pappy Van Winkle and other Van Winkle products, as well as E.H. Taylor's seasoned wood. Why wheat? It replaces the rye spice with sweetness from the wheat grain, leading to a softer mouthfeel. This is going to be a softer drink. And a demand for whiskey that's more gentle is appropriate. It's been around since the 1840s, when William Laurie Wheeler, a Kentucky whiskey pioneer, first launched it back in 1850. Wheeler's wheated whiskeys were in such demand that he had to start putting the green thumbprint on barrels and invoices to indicate their authenticity. The legendary Pappy Van Winkle would later fold Wheeler's business into the P.H. Stizzle Distillery, forming Stizzle Wheeler Distillery in 1935. And in 1999, Buffalo Trace acquired the brand and began reproducing Wheeler's wheated bourbon. So now, I know you're saying, why is Wheeler so rare? The scarcity of this product is particularly its suggested retail price. It's something that warrants mentioning. It's a plethora of factors relating to distribution practices and America's 3-tier regulation system. Regulators have had an impact on which markets will get this allocated bourbon, making it harder to find locally. Additionally, due to the high pricing on the secondary market, retail pricing is often 4 to 5 times higher. And I will name you some prices. I told you I paid $79.99 for this. Okay, I paid $79.99 for this, plus tax. So when you see it in the wild, it's awfully outrageously overpriced. The fact that Buffalo Trace moved its annual release of allocated product instead of the mainstream production item doesn't help meet its rapid consumer demand. So is Wheeler really worth the hunt? The above explanation of a more limited supply coupled with the overwhelming demand means that people who are seeking Wheeler 12-year-old will have to scour liquor stores to source bottles, particularly if they're hoping to pay anywhere near retail pricing. So is Wheeler 12 really worth it? In some ways, yes. Provided you can get it somewhere under the secondary market pricing. It's a solid option value. It can only be assessed by the individual. But it's a wonderful bottle when it's priced below $100. Once the price moves into 3 figures, it becomes harder to justify. When there are ample other options within the wheated bourbons and wheated whiskey space. So I know you're saying, are they going to make more because it's coming? In February 2023, Buffalo Trace opened a new stillhouse that was able to produce up to 60,000 gallons of whiskey a day. That will double the production of Buffalo Trace, Eagle Rare, Wheeler, and Blanton's, E.H. Taylor Jr., and the rest of the whiskeys in its portfolio. According to the distillery, this is part of a 1.2 billion expansion that started back in 2015. The distillery has indeed pumped out 50% more products since the initiative started. So yes, more Wheeler 12 is coming. However, it won't be soon. It may go without saying that it will be at least 12 years, because it's aged 12 years. Before you actually see Wheeler 12 at a retail price on shelves all the time. As a result of this production. So, I got this at retail at Bevmo. I bought the last bottle. Okay? But if you really, really want to try this, Rare Bourbon Shop. Now, keep in mind, I told you I paid $79.99 for it. Rare Bourbon Shop has it for $209.99. And TotalBourbon.com has it for $249.99. And there's other prices. I've scoured the web that has it at up to $500 something. So, I'm going to crack this open. Give you some taste of it. Some notes of it. On the back of the bottle, it's written inscription. It says, born 1825, William Laurie Wheeler was one of the early whiskey pioneers in America. W.L. Wheeler marketed his original bourbon recipe with wheat rather than rye in the mash bill. Wheeler spent his lifetime educating consumers about the differences in his bourbon. Wheat is a soft grain, providing this bourbon with the mild, gently, and smooth sipping experience. Wheeler also believed in the importance of aging his whiskey. This fine 12-year-old bourbon whiskey has a deep amber color with complex flavors of vanilla, oak, and cinnamon. A tribute to the man who made the wheated bourbon legendary. It says, distilled, aged, and bottled by Buffalo Trace Distillery, Frankfort, Kentucky. And they have their website, Wheeler at bourbonwhiskey.com. And they have a number where you can call and tell them what you think about it. But it's Kentucky straight bourbon, aged 12 years. And for this, I got the... wanted to have a sifter, but I didn't have one. I like my whiskeys a little cold on the rocks, so I put some cold rocks on, you know. I'm going to crack this open. Now, we're not going to pour a big glass. This is whiskey, okay? This is the bourbon. I'm going to go all the way up to this. I'm going to cap it. Don't want to spill it. And you can see it's definitely amber color. Look at that. Oh, it just smells good. Ooh. It's a good whiskey. It is softer. Definitely get all the hints of vanilla. Let's go back to the tasting notes. Cream corn and toasty vanilla. I do get the vanilla. And it is smooth. It's one of the smoothest whiskeys. I mean, this ain't to have after dinner type of stuff. Almost like a dessert. Not even a dessert, but you know, just like a drink after with the men, you know. Bourbons are always like the drink to have afterwards. Smoke a cigar, gentlemen, just talk, hold up their drink, and just. Now, like I said, I paid $79.99 for it plus tax. I would not pay $209, huh? Maybe. But I would really draw the line at it. I mean, is it worth it? Depends. It really depends. I mean, yeah, it just depends. Anyway, this is Reverend Rob. I will see you on the flip side. Cheers. I'm gonna have another after this video. But the rest of this bottle's going on my shelf until we talk about bourbons again. Bye bye.